South Africa's protesters brought their anger to a new level. Now, while protesting against the non-availability of one of the most basic and essential human facilities, a place to empty natural waste. You wonder what that is? Well, it's toilets. Yes, it's what some people call washrooms. Now, protesters burst their buttocks in public on the streets of Soweto, squatting as if in the toilet. They complain of being stuck with the bucket system the government had promised to change since 2007. Now, some of them actually emptied buckets of human waste on the streets. Police had to fire rubber bullets and tear gas to disperse them. Now, last year, the South African Human Rights Commission said that the bucket system was a human rights violation and urged the government to devise a sanitation plan to urgently eradicate it. Now, some African communities still operate the bucket system, which the protesters say should have been in extinction by now. And South African officials estimate that close to 300,000 homes in the country still use the bucket system. That is why we ask as follows in our question of the day. Now, knowing the sanitation challenges this poses, do African governments have the means and the will to eradicate the bucket system across the continent? Our social media platforms have experienced lots of traffic all day, and here are some of the comments left on our Twitter and Facebook pages. Okay, now our very first comments come from Sir Akania Day, and he says, to provide or maintain most pressing amenities is so difficult for Nigerian government. I wonder why. And Akim says, why is it a difficult task to provide toilets and water? For God's sake, this is a disgrace to both present and past leaders. And Akinleye says, I think it is possible too, if our leader can be determined and focused to do it. Ayodele says, this still happens in some states here in our country, Nigeria, sadly. And Ogbodo says, African governments have the means to eradicate the use of bucket system, but they won't do it till Jesus comes. And from Facebook, Amash says, Soweto has a history leading to end an apartheid and return to democracy, yet the government doesn't see need to provide adequate housing and sanitation for these citizens. Jacob Zuma sending land developers, not policemen. Oladoku says, did you just write bucket system? I can't imagine that a country like South Africa can be practicing bucket system. And Olaolu says, most African leaders are too self-centered and like playing politics on paper. They like achievement that does not translate to meaningful livelihood. Emmanuel Davis says, it's possible if government can erect toilets and hand over to private sectors for proper management. Okay, I guess that's all we can take now. If your comment wasn't read on the air, you can go to our site on Twitter at TVC News_Africa, or on Facebook TVC News Africa, and find yours amongst the numerous posts there. You can also watch us on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News. Well, over to you guys.